Hello, everybody. Uh, Disclaimers, I guess. My opinion is just that it's nothing's written in stone, so it's just my opinion and it's my truth. So, in that sense, I am lying to you 50% of the time because 50% of your reality is 50% of my reality, and I am trying to not get any kind of friction going between YouTube and this channel because I do not know how this stuff works. So tonight we're gonna talk, and we're gonna talk in a sense that reality, I guess, it's based in reality. So in reality exists um, everything that's basically flowing. What is flowing here with you, and what is flowing here with me, is two different realities, and not only separated by space and time, but they're also separated by our brain. The difference between brain and mind is vast. Mind does not have a physical appearance, does not have a physical attribute. Brain does. And when you interact with something that's beyond you, then funny things happen. A lot of the inventions that have made this world what it is today, multiple people have discovered at the same time. That's not a coincidence. Nothing happens by coincidence. So when my reality exists, your reality also exists, but it exists in a different space. In a different space that is not different in a sense of time, but different in a sense of existence. Hello, Angel. And when we go and live our lives become a reality. What that means. Hmm. If I am living a life of lies, then lies will be my life. If I am living a life of immorality, then immorality will be my life. If I am living in the past, which a vast majority of people do, reminiscing is part of their life. And living in the past takes away from what is now. Now is all that it exists. Now is reality flowing. I am breathing. Am I thinking about it? No. I can see you as you can see your computer or your TV, whatever you're watching this, your phone. I can hear. My senses, in other words, are kicking all without interruption, unless I have some kind of brain injury or physical bodily injury that I cannot interpret my perception as being reality now. There's a difference between now and a second ago. There's a difference between now and a minute from now. Everything changes and everything creates the reality that we construct second by second. I just got an itch on my cheek. Was that itch there 5 seconds ago? No. Is it going to be there 5 seconds from now? No, because I solved it automatically flowing. Oh, I'm an itchy on my cheek, so I got to scratch it. So that was a process that I didn't have to think about. Hey, Jared, that was a process that I didn't have to make a 1 plus 1 calculation to come up with a reality. That's what I'm talking about. Flowing in the now is different than flowing in the past or flowing in the future. Flowing, is it water? Is it consciousness? What is flowing? It's a beautiful thing. And by allowing yourself to not get distracted by things that have absolutely no meaning to what you are creating is allowing yourself to create a reality that is yours and yours alone, not from an external source, not from a source that is not yours. It could be just my voice creating a reality for you that is not yours, and that's not good if you're take away. If you're taking my voice and making it into your reality, it's not a good thing, right? My voice is only there to make you wiggly waggle through the wiggle, and that wiggly waggle is what we are, right? We wiggle and waggle through everything. We're not a straight line. We're not anything that we can comprehend or pretend to be because we're flowing in space and time. Space and time. Space and time does not exist. Space and time is a created reality. Space and time is a created reality that we, in fact, continuously create. Each cell firing creates this reality. Each cell, vibrationally speaking, is not the same, right? There is different types of things that create this reality for everybody. Let's stick to the common ones. Let's stick to the senses. And everybody's senses is different. There's people that can sniff like a dog would sniff, and there's people that can taste 100 million times better than I can taste. But there's people at the same time that can taste 100 million times less than I can taste. So everything is to a limit, and everything has its high end and low end. Everything is in the spectrum. There's lower side, higher side. And that reality created in space and time that does not exist is what creates our existence. Our existence has a meaning to it, and that meaning is completely emotional. Whether you're here to be one of the 0.9%, 0.09% of the serial killers and the murderers, whether you're here to be the 99.1% of the good people, when you're here to be the 1% of the special people and the gifted people, and whether you're here to be an extraordinary human being, stand up human being, but is completely private and never gives it back. It's totally up to you. It's totally your choice. And that choice is what creates that second that is so precious to every single one of us. Consciousness itself is the gift. Consciousness was created not in the Big Bang, it was created in a stream, just as like I'm streaming right now. It's flawless. It's pretty much forever, yet it has a beginning that no one knows, and that no one knows. God Himself does not know the end, nor the beginning, because it could just be a choice. It could be a choice to begin, or it could be a choice to end. So if we're going to flow, and we're going to flow in a moment of space that is now, then what is there to miss? What is there to think about? What is there to overthink about? It's funny because the body's like, if you don't get sleep, you will eventually die. If you don't get food, you will eventually die. If you don't drink water, you will eventually die. If you cut off the oxygen, you will definitely die, and so on and so on and so on. So there's a trillion ways to die, or a billion ways to die. Well, how many ways are there to die? Yeah, you can only be born one way, and that one way is Earth. Whether, well, I don't know if they've been test tubing. They might have experimented with that. Um, that cloning stuff. I think they've done that already. But I don't want to spread any conspiracies because that's not what we're about. Um, oh yeah, customary frappedaki. Thank you, my Louis, for making it for me. Very important. So that reality that we exist. Oh, itchy nose. Guess what? I got to stop and automatically scratch. Interesting. But I didn't have to think about it. Why didn't I think about it? Because it's muscle memory, and that muscle memory just comes through and creates that reality. So, where was I? I completely lost my train of thought because I scratched my nose. Oh, itchy neck. A lot of itchies tonight. I think it's a dry weather, but even though it's raining outside, I don't know. In your case, it might be snowing, Jared. I think it is snowing hard. Anyways, um, that second that we all create is translated by our brain and then disseminated to our other two brains, which is our stomach. Yep, which is a stomach and a heart. So these three brains, in coordination with the dance of life, create this beautiful thing called life. And that consciousness is the gift. It's a gift. Why is consciousness the gift? Because without consciousness, you cannot hear my words. You cannot feel rain or snow. You cannot basically do anything. Okay. The observer and the person that is observing this reality is the choice maker. We are making the choices. We as individuals, every single second, is making a choice. And that choice creates what we call reality. Ah, I don't know. Want to get into mostly to the esoteric side of it, or I'm going to keep it just strictly metaphorical because, again, the assumptions that I state are basically my truths. They're not your truths. And if I go too deep, then people will not really hear what I'm saying. So if we get caught up in a moment of fear, that fear is based from soul, number one, where we came from, number two, the situation that you're in, and number three is the expressed reality that you have put on that. So if you placed uh, a firework going off as fearful, you're going to have a fearful reaction. Yes, there is times to be feared. If somebody's chasing you with something that's going to hurt you, best be afraid and run away. So don't get me wrong. Do not misunderstand me. If you're going to place any situation in that fear zone, in that fear reality, your body's going to react the same. And your body's going to tell you through muscle memory and through all these processes that you've created in your brain to protect yourself. And that is a good thing. We've lost that, however, because we're no longer attached to nature. We are no longer attached to the reality of our earth. So we have lost that in a way that we cannot comprehend what and who we are. What and who we are is a connected being to a universal aspect that is mind. And that mind, right, flows through all of us. It is the actual universe in process in work. And how we interact second by second through this mind brain connection is how we interact as human beings with each other. So I have to pretend a lot of times so I can get along with people or to have people relate in a way that it's hard to relate with other people because I cannot show who I truly am. Because then I will not have time to get a message out or my sentence out or reality of mine that is a true belief that doesn't matter to you out. And we do that every second. Every second we interact with each other to make this reality a, a connected path. So I can't exist without you and you can't exist without me. So we have to have that interaction in order to make this legitimate. And when I say that point of like separation comes when I am not seen as something that I'm not. It's weird to express because I mean, Javid would understand in a way that other people don't understand because he experienced a few things that others have not. And it's hard for me to explain something that I've experienced to somebody who has not without making them feel uncomfortable. And I do not want to make feel uncomfortable people feel uncomfortable. That's why I have to pretend to be normal, to have a brain that works like everybody else. And in a way, it's a way it's not it's in a way it's not really pretending, it's just being human. It's just being part of the world that we're in. Frappadaki. Gotta love Louis for making the frappadaki. It's funny because when we sit there and overthink, um, what happens is we getting stressed, and that stress brings on a form of anxiety, and that form of anxiety now traps you in that cycle of thinking and thinking and thinking over and over and over and over and over. And then your body says, okay, why are we thinking about the same thing? And that same thing starts to like get us sad. And the body has to protect itself and it starts to shut down. And if you talk to, I believe, the butchers or the psychiatrists, they would call that a depression. And from that depression, you are now so sad and so distraught over that small thought that may or may not have affected your reality now, that you are having to be diagnosed as a uh, what is that thing called? Depression, a depressive, and probably get medicated. Now, why do we sit there and tap into things that we have no control over? We have no control over that because we are not alone. My thoughts are my thoughts. Your thoughts are your thoughts. So the difference is they're not linked in any way, form, or shape. They're all linked only by mind. And since I can say a word that have a total effect on you directly, you can say a word that will have a total direct effect on me. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. You could say a word that is going to affect me just the same, right? And these words are trigger points that we can watching a movie, reading a book, scrolling through our phones, and that single word can get you stuck on that sadness that keeps you going in that cycle of like thought that leads to depression. And unfortunately, your body has to protect itself. Your body has to shut down and say, oh, enough is enough. It's getting too hot in here. I can't deal with this. I gotta like shut down and relax for a minute, and hopefully this stupid thought will go away. So what I'm trying to say is the past is not what defines your present. Your brain and your choices define your present in a way of reality that you are creating. You and you alone can only create that reality, and you alone can only manage that reality. Managing that reality does not mean affecting other people, does not mean affecting your health, does not mean many different things. Managing your reality is how you use your words, how you use your actions, and how you use your ability to have the humane interaction with yourself to protect yourself. And choices have a lot to do with it. If you're going to say something and not do it, that's a choice that you should not have said. If you're going to do something that's going to harm somebody else, that's a choice that you should not have had. If you're going to like exert force on somebody else for only particular gains of yourself, that's something that is not going to serve you again. Like I got upset today just because I asked my Louis to make me a coffee. I was too lazy to make my own coffee. But I also like the way she makes her coffee because she makes it 100 times better than me. So at one point, I'm like, please make me a coffee. She's like, no. And I'm like, please make me a coffee. She's like, no. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I have to do to ask her to make me a coffee? So if she didn't make the choice to make me a coffee, would I be cranky right now? No. But she did make me that coffee because she has that ability to share herself, even when she's uncomfortable, even when she's like extremely like on her lowest side, she will share herself because that's who she is. And because of her, the Frappedaki is flowing. Thank God. I need it. So, am I making sense or am I rambling again? Can you all can chime in and go ahead and ask questions if you like. Thing is, if the questions snap really fast, I have a really hard time seeing them with these glasses of mine. And as you can see, it's bright as hell in here, so I have a hard time with sun, lights or everything else too. Uh, and where is it? Jay last week had a question, and her question was about it was reality based, and to her, it's a matter of being genuine, and matter of the genuine self is the one that has to be nurtured, and that nurturing takes time. That nurturing takes ability to heal, right? And to heal, I don't mean like you put a band-aid on it. I mean long term, cured, done. In other words, that done has to be lasting with the choice. Um, Interesting. Because if it was not a band-aid that created that wound to heal, then that wound would always stay open and it would never close up. Or eventually it does close up, but it doesn't close up right. Hard to say. Because I know when I cut my fingers, a lot of times, if I didn't put a band-aid on it, it pretty much scabbed over and healed eventually over time. But it was a lot. The scar was a lot bigger because I did not put a band-aid on it. And that's what happens to a brain. The scars get bigger and bigger because we never truly heal that wound to close in a tight manner that really, really makes a difference going forward. And that's a lot of the overthinking and a lot of the time that we spend torturing our thoughts with things that really do not matter. The flow of things, the way we breathe, the way we do things, the way our cells work, all without us thinking about them, um, is the natural flow of everything. Um, and that everything means including space and time. Okay. Now, why is there no questions today? And usually I have like 100 questions or whatever. Okay. Anyways, Jared, are you watching this on the TV? Because if you are, I want to see what it looks like. Yep. And it's is it okay or I keep getting the yips. I love it. Quiet time. I don't like quiet time. My hands look like Hulk sized. Well, it's because the camera is here, and when I go forward, see how big they get. Roar. So it's yeah, I don't know where to keep them. It's like we'll keep them down here and not talk, but I talk with my hands all the time. Oh, Nicholas just got home. Uh, hi, buddy. Yep, he is a boss. Uh, so, does anybody have a question, Angel, or anybody? Okay. Yikes. All right. Now, the other thing about reality that it's fungible. It is like a sponge, and that sponge comes into effect at birth, and that reality expands. So by the time we're about 7 years old, it does lock in to our uh, previous life, the previous personality, and that previous personality now becomes a part of our emotions that we are currently experimenting with and feeling today. So the emotions, right? Sorry, I'm trying to get moving around over here, and it's kind of like moving everything. The emotions is what makes for this experience to be fungible, makes it a reality that exists through those feelings that we exhibit every single second. Uh, when we pass, we do not remember when we come back. Um, and that is the we are living. Okay, so Angel's asking, so you think our reality we are living right now is the karma from previous life choices, and the choices dealing with this karma is creating a future reality? No, 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 no. Karma is something that we deal with on a secondly, minute by minute basis. If it is our karma to sit here and drink coffee at 8:30 at night, then so be it. If this coffee now is going to cause me to have a heart attack 5, 10 years earlier before my time has passed, or my time is to pass, then I have made the choices over and over and over again to be drinking this coffee regardless, right? So if my reality, this coffee was going to cause me a heart attack, maybe 5 years before it was time for me to pass, then I have done that before. I have done that over and over and over and over and over. Why does that not change? Why does the karma of me drinking this coffee change? Because I enjoy this. This gives me pleasure. This also gives me a sense of taste, sense of energetic, vibrational, whatever you want to call it, throughout my body. This also gives me the habit, which I have formed, that I call coffee drinking. So, this is a karma based action. This is a karma based action. Everything we do has an association with the karmic value. Yet, everything we do has an association with the karmic value that is a part of a structure that has good, bad, and everything in the middle. So that structure, my giant hands, that structure has a beginning and it has an end. So it has smallest to the largest. It also has hottest to coldest. It also has everything in the middle, everything that the comic uh, reality is holding on to our souls will be revealed at death. We don't remember that. We cannot remember that. The only thing we remember Doesn't matter. Karma is not associated with the second. Karma is associated with the beginning and the end. So if I dismissed what I had in my heart at 6 years old when I first died to help out other human beings, then I would not be sitting here interacting with other people to create a better reality for them. See what I'm saying? So if I dismissed not helping other people at 16 years old, 18 years old when I died the second time, then I would not be having this interaction. That would be a karmic effect that has a beginning to end effect, right? So the coffee is not karmic. It is karmic at the same time. My actions from birth till death is the karma that we associate with our soul. Okay. So choices from a previous life, such as drinking coffee, do not affect this life now. Choices from the previous life to help others do affect our life now. Okay. Choices dealing with this karma is not creating a future reality. So karma does not create a future reality if we make a choice to avoid something that is truly in our heart. And if something's truly in our heart and we avoid that, maybe my sole purpose was to be on Broadway or be a race car driver or be I don't know, something else that I currently am. But for some reason, what was in my heart at 6 years old is still there now. Imagine that. So at my age, 50 plus years later, that same feeling and emotion is still in my heart that I have to use all my energy and power to be of service to somebody else. Why? That is my karmic reality that I've lived before, and this is my karmic reality that I'm living now. So hopefully by the time I go on to my next life, I will realize that I have to help others again. Because, in my opinion, we are all in this together. We're all in this to help each other. And if we don't help each other, we're screwed. We're fucked. We're fucked in a hard way because, as an organism, human beings is one. There's no, I do not know of any other organism that's a human being. No, it's just us. So if we don't help each other, we're done, right? So to me, helping other people should be everybody's purpose, whether it's small or large. Helping other people is my purpose. Okay? And this is something that karmically I am aware that I have to fulfill. And I've been doing this again for a long time. And because I have fulfilled my karmic value, I know I have helped other people. Okay. Does that make me creating my future? No, because my future is still undetermined. My future is basically waking up, saying thank you, being extremely grateful for everything I have, having a nice coffee, maybe a smoke, and then starting off my day. And I'm usually watching, I don't know, Fox News, I don't know, Alan Watts. I'm watching whatever I'm watching until I decide that it's time for me to do what I have to do to pass my day. And my day is usually spent helping others, whether I'm feeding people or whatever, making cutting greens for people or whatever. So that's what I can explain future reality being. Future reality is being present while you are flowing without really thinking. In other words, can the process become easier to flow without too much thought? That is the goal we should all be looking at. Did I answer your question, Angel? Now, also, like, yes, I tried. I tried because, again, it's not a simple thing to explain what karma is. It is valid. It does have effect on us. Yet, it's again, it's a scale, right? Between good, bad, everything in the middle. And that scale is what we surf. We surf that scale, with our ups and our downs. I mean, everybody has bad days. Everybody has great days. Everybody gets bored. Everybody gets hungry, and so on and so on and so on and so on. But these processes are based on a reality of this realm or this world, right? When we pass, that doesn't exist. When we go to the next realm, that may or may not exist. And a lot of times, because this planet is a teaching planet, we come back here. And that's why karma is valid in a way that, oops, sorry, that I'm getting used to this camera thing because everything's backwards. Funny because everything's always backwards, even our words. When I say the quotes, the air quotes, karma is a funny thing. And yes, it does carry through lifetimes, but you can't think of it as the micro. You got to think of it as the macro, which is the whole picture. The micro is the choices that you make that create your reality, and that is your future reality. And each choice is subtle, each choice is small. But if we're making the same choice every single day, every single day, every single day to make that same choice, when do we ever really get a chance to make a different choice? It's hard, right? Because to skip from the every single day, every single day, every single day to a different choice, that means something has to happen. And that something is basically thought. And that thought is what we get stuck on. That thought is the roadblock. That thought is the comfort zone. That thought is the the difference between our reality and our existence and other people's reality and other people's existence because they always interact and they always cross paths in one way or another. Now, there's what, almost 8 billion people on this planet today? Of course, we don't cross paths between all of them, but we do cross paths between a lot. We may not be aware of it, but every time we get in a car and that car goes through a highway, guess what? We're interacting with everybody's heartbeat that's on the highway that is coming and going. And our heartbeats on a little car going boom, 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 boom. And their heartbeats going boom, 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 boom. But they're interacting whether you know it or not. So if some evil force came by me on the highway, I would feel me like, what the hell are you? You're an evil force. And I am not, I'm gonna choose to either run away and I'm gonna choose to either like fight you, or I'm gonna choose to either like just be silent and just do my thing and say, oh, okay, that evil force is not affecting me. So I'm not gonna, I'm gonna let it be. And that's usually the case, right? But when you are sensitive and you have the ability to feel this stuff, then it's a burden, because that burden now starts creating patterns in your brain that you have a hard time dealing with. And that's why when I do talk to a lot of empaths and a lot of people that are valid, it's hard for them to comprehend. And usually they get scared and don't talk to me anymore, with the exception of a few. Um, so I'm going to try to keep this short, but is there any other questions I know Val has a question. I haven't seen Val tonight, and I don't understand why there's only two of you people, right? That I know what I did. So I changed it to channel subscribers of 1 minute or longer and can send messages. That's why there's no messages. So if you're a subscriber, you can send a message. Otherwise, forget about it. It ain't gonna happen. Let's see. Is there any questions, guys? Hi. Who's Lugano, 1999? Name, please. I do not know these names. Carol. Hi, Carol. You have any questions for me? How does one become self motivated? Well, self motivation is based on reality. What is it that you want, that you desire, that you can make happen today? That is self motivation. Self motivation is psyching yourself out to do what is not comfortable. Psyching yourself out to do what is not comfortable. Why would you have to psych yourself out to do what is not comfortable? Because you are stuck. You are stuck in a certain mentality that every single day becomes Groundhog Day, or it seems that Groundhog Day is real. Yet self motivation changes that. Self motivation makes me go to the gym, makes me not drink my coffee. Self motivation is the way that you can project and prefabricate what you want to create. And self motivation could be a mantra, could be a little saying that you put together and you say every single morning or every single night. Self motivation could be a mindset that makes it a reality to keep that habit that you were trying to form going. Because self motivation is changing or creating habits. Changing or creating habits creates the reality that you want as far as what your goals are or whatever you're motivated to do. So, so it's hard to not be motivated if you are thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking of things that mean nothing to you, right? So if something means something to you, then it's easy to get motivated and make that reality happen. Like Louie loves to make jewelry, and she makes some nice jewelry she wants to, but it's her choice to motivate herself when she can do it because she's a busy dude. Okay, so um, how does one become self motivated? Again, it's a choice, and that choice has to do with what it is you want. And if you want something, you have to create a routine that makes it happen. Okay, Jared? Did that answer your question, sir? Let's see if I can fix this thing. My head, my bobblehead. Damn. I have a little space to work with, and my hands are the size of whatever. So Ashley's asking, do we think phones and tablets are making it harder to notice our intuition? Absolutely, Ashley. Phones and tablets are the distraction. TV is a distraction. Even a good book is a distraction. It takes your brain out of the now and puts it in a state of a black screen or in a state of imagination. So, phones and tablets are definitely making it harder to notice our intuition. And this is what I was talking about before. We're out of nature. We have lost that ability to interact with each other in ways that the ancients or the I'm talking when I say in ancients, I'm talking 5, 10,000 years ago. The ancients had ways to communicate without words, and the ancients had way to communicate with just the basic intuition because they were more in tune with the field around them versus us today because we are more in tune on pressing a button than actually doing the work to make that button work. Hmm. Does that just make sense? Because pressing the button, boom, and it's done, right? Okay, what goes behind that button? Okay. And I've been thinking about that with younger kids and how I want my niece to be aware of their surroundings. Don't want the phone affecting that for them. Unfortunately, Ashley, this is why others are raising the kids without phones or tablets. Today, a lot of people are making the phone and tablet the babysitter instead of like manning up and actually watching and playing with those kids. So now the phone and tablet is the babysitter, and the parent can actually make dinner. It's sad but true. Um, and as an aunt, I'm sure you care, but ultimately they're not your kids. When you have your own kids, you can make the choice for them. But technology is moving forward for a reason, and technology is changing every single day for a reason. And that reason has always been the same since the beginning. And that beginning was to control your mind. Your brain. Your mind can't be controlled, but your brain can definitely be controlled, right? So younger kids today are having a much harder time creating their senses, all seven of them, because they do not have an opportunity to do so. They don't have the opportunity for the wiring to connect. They don't have the opportunity for the gray matter to build through meditation. They don't have that ability um, to flow with the true reality that they can be because their reality is controlled in the screen. Does that make sense? Um, and when I had my kids, I waited until they were what 13 or 14 to give them a phone. They fought me tooth and nail when they were in school. They were saying, "Come on now, Dad, why does all the other kids have a phone and I don't have a phone?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'd be happy to give you a flip phone, and you can use that to call me, and I can call you. But as far as apps go and everything else, no." Uh, but that was a choice that I made for them. But I also made the same choice to have them introduce them to Santa Claus. And you all know how I feel about Santa Claus. Mm-mm-mm. Um, so, but the reason why I made them, that choice to introduce them to Santa Claus is I want them to make their own decisions on what and how they live their lives. If they choose to believe in Christmas, that's great. If they choose to know the truth about Christmas, I'd be happy to share with them and what it actually means. Um, but same thing with the phones and tablets. It's just bad for them. And how we interact with each other is also affected by those phones and tablets. Okay. And whether it makes sense or not, Ashley, it's my truth. Um, your truth, again, is 50% different than mine. So I am lying to you, basically. 50% lying to you. And yes, everybody else, I'm 50% lying to you too. You and Jared. Um, so I I can't express enough how if it's flowing, it's a reality. If it's thought based, that reality is being created. And that thought base also creates the emotions, it also creates the feelings. And these feelings and emotions is what creates the soul matrix. And the soul matrix is what moves on. And this is why by the way. All these evil people and all these evil motherfuckers that don't give a shit about humanity, they already know this. They already know that we move on. And because they don't move on, they do not care for us. Therefore, they're trying to destroy us. And these people suck. These people, very small percentage of them that are in control, really suck. And these people are like smiling in your face. Sumerians, good people, but in the middle of the night, they're doing some nasty shit. Sorry, guys. That was a little rant. I have a tendency to do that. Any other questions? Okay, Kitty, it's almost time to play. My cat, she's a rat, giant rat. It's Isis. Okay. Let's see. I'm surprised you didn't know that, Ashley, because I mean that's a softball about phones and tablets. I mean, it's hard for people, right? But it's hard for people to observe their intuition. It's even harder for people to realize intuition is valid unless they practice it. Mm, When you are a woman, you have a sense of intuition that is legit, but being legit, you still tend to ignore it because you rather be in a comfort zone or not believe it. And again, that is something that's sad because your intuition being one of the senses is very powerful and it can protect you as well as give you insights on how to create a reality. Okay, so it is part of the second, and that second is always unfolding with every heartbeat, and vibrationally being intertwined with this realm or this earth. Um, we're all together in it. So, being overthinking, correct. So you stop. Angel says you stop paying attention to intuition because you always ended up being overthinking, and that's what happens with the intuition. You allow it to take control, therefore it triggers off anxiety. Okay, intuition should just be used as a guide, and that guide tells you, "Don't go down that dark alley. Follow it." There's nothing to overthink if that intuition tells you. Um, that guy over there is eating macaroni. He's going to get splattered with sauce all over his forehead, not his shirt, his forehead. So observe and see if that indeed happens, because a lot of times he's going to get spotted in the forehead, not the shirt. So some guy's eating spaghetti and spotted his forehead with spaghetti sauce, and you saw this coming. That is intuition. Should that be overthought? No, the only thing that you ever thought, if you're feeling intuition, is you getting sick, right? So if you feel your body getting sick and you overthink it, you are inviting to get sick. So if you're gonna overthink something happening to your physical temple, your body, it's gonna manifest into a reality. So if you think your intuition is telling you that your body is getting sick, you tell that intuition to fuck off. You know why? Because then you're going to overthink it. We all want good health, and we trap ourselves by overthinking our thoughts. And if our thoughts are telling us we're getting sick, the more we think about it, the sicker we get. And several of you have experienced what I'm talking about, and it sucks. And I'm guilty of it myself. That's why when I start saying, "Oh no, I think I'm getting sick," all of a sudden my brain says, "Nope, you're not getting sick. Fuck off." I'm not going to sit there and overthink it and make it a reality. That's the only time intuition really can hurt you. Yes, you get intuition, great, fine. Use it to your advantage. But if it's going to harm you, is when it's going to settle in and create the reality that you don't want to create, and that's getting sick. Does that make sense? Um, and now it's not that you pay attention to intuition, you hear it, you feel it, you smell it, whatever your senses that's kicking off that experience, that intuition now becomes reality. And the only thing you should do in any given situation of intuition is observe it or act upon it to save your physical self. Like I said, I'm not going to walk down a dark alley in the middle of the night unless I'm strapped. And even then, I wouldn't do it because I would never want to use it on somebody else. And if my intuition's saying don't do that, I'm not going to do it. But to hear that, I have to allow myself to hear it. And if I don't hear it, then the choice I'm making is going against my better judgment. And my better judgment includes a whole system, which includes intuition. Okay. But if I'm going to say, okay, now I'm going to get sick, I'm going to overthink. Oh boy, shit. Then I'm going to get trapped and I am going to get sick. Um, what's one way I can explain that? Damn, this coffee's good. I don't know what how she does it, but she makes the best coffee. Is there anybody else that has a question or comment? All right, because I do want to keep this. Okay, Ashley, it's rare that it happens, but sometimes someone will trigger my intuition to help me stay away from them. And it happened at the food store yesterday, which had me ask me questions partially. I want that. Try that coffee. That extra ingredient. Oh no, Louis, you didn't spit in it, did you? God damn it. Now, Ashley, we interact. Vibrationally, our hearts interact. And again, this reality means nothing without other people. Okay. Individually, our reality means nothing either. We have to have that interaction between heart rhythms, whether it's one or a million, right? If that person or that entity is triggering an intuition, then there is a cause of an effect that is being played out in real reality, in real time. Okay. The food store, when you had that intuition about the person you had an interaction with at the food store, that is intuition. Did you overthink it? Or did you make it a reality to use what you had in your intuition to walk away or to go closer? Right. So, no, listen and walked away. So, that is what the gift of intuition is. You listened and you walked away. But if you listened, you would also could have gone closer. Think about that because intuition goes both ways, right? If you have an action as an equal opposite reaction, and the choice that you make is based on a combination of things that have come up in your life, and what you've learned serves you, or doesn't serve you. And what you've learned is what creates that intuition to speak to you in the language that you choose, which is basically English. Um, or in my case, sometimes Greek. Uh, it just depends what it is that I am experiencing at that time. So the comment that got me going right now is that extra ingredient. Hmm. Because it makes me wonder what is that extra ingredient now I should put in there. Damn, Louis. You see what I'm saying? So that trigger point now, that trigger point is a joke. At the same time, that trigger point is like, hmm, why did they do what they did? Because I know what she had to do to make a comment. She went against her own rules and her own everything to make a channel so she can comment. That's amazing. Ah, boy. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's funny, man. All right, guys. Uh, we're going on to an hour. Is there any other question, or should we just shut it down for the night? I'd be happy to go and answer more questions. I have no problem. I just need that interaction because I had what they had to say about reality. And again, that stuff I can get into, and I can spend several days talking about it. Uh, just trying to keep it on a, you know, uh, air quote thing. Just keep it low because there's a lot of insides in how that reality is affecting every single one of us. There is an interaction, by the way, between your reality and your reality and my reality are two different things, but the interaction is still the same, and that's vibrational. And that's why Ashley had an intuition and walked away because she vibrated in a sense to her needs and whatever it was that she was dealing with at the time and said, okay, this is not going to serve me. I'm going to walk away. And that's exactly what it's there for. It's there for those purposes. And I don't know if Mr. Jarrett's still around, but I doubt it. All right, how does this work? If you go like that, he goes like that. Oh my God. If you go like that, you go like that. Cool. So no questions, guys? Funny thing about this thing is I don't know where to look. Do I look straight up here? Do I look down here? Do I look down here? I don't know where to look. I do know that this glare on my glasses is stressing the bag out of me. Mm. Anyways, like see that glare? I don't like it. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I am gonna stop right here, and we will do this all again next Monday. Hopefully, uh, oh, you are still there, Val. Okay, sorry. I don't know if you guys were putting. I didn't know if you guys were putting the kids to sleep. Angel, you are very welcome. Um, I will see you all next Monday, and thank you for watching. All right, peace. End it.